My friend Gabby was a total dork, a bit of an airhead, and one of the least outdoorsy persons I knew. So when he asked me if I wanted to go on a 3-week backpacking trip to Patagonia, the obvious answer was, sure, why not? What could possibly go wrong? I was only 18, I was a freshman in college, and this would be the first big trip without my family. So I was pretty scared. But we got on the train on a very hot summer day in Buenos Aires. It was 100 degrees outside, 120 inside the train, and this was a trip that would take 24 to 36 hours, just like Amtrak, but in Spanish. So I was in panic mode the whole trip. I was thinking about all the things that could go wrong. But 30 hours later, when we pull into the station and I see this amazing Patagonian landscape, all my fears go away. This was going to be a great trip. So I reach behind the seat to get my backpack, and it feels slimy. It's covered in puke. Red and yellow chunky puke. So I go back into panic mode. I want to go back home, but I don't have much time. My friends are already getting on the bus that is going to take us to our next destination, was El Bolsón, this tiny village in the mountains. This is a trip that will take another 5 hours in this very narrow road, unpaved, in the mountains, very winding road, a rock wall on one side, an unguarded precipice on the other one. And then there's the bus, held together by duct tape and chicken wire, with transmission problems, questionable braking potential, and a disco ball hanging from the rearview mirror. If this wasn't nerve-wracking enough, one of the passengers was my friend Gabby, who decides to adopt the driver as his new biology teacher. The driver thought he was driving a sport car. He was, steering with one hand and doing the gears, while in the other hand he was holding a cigarette, except when he was lighting the cigarette, in which the steering wheel and the gears were left unattended. So Gabby moves to the front of the bus, completely ignoring the sign that says, "Do not distract the driver," and starts questioning him. What is that plant with the spiky leaves over there? What is that red fungus on that rock? What is that bird that is over there? I stand up, ready to choke my friend to shut him up, and then I see this truck coming the opposite direction. Now, the bus driver was trying to find the bird that he couldn't see because the disco ball was in his line of sight. So it takes him an extra second. So when he sees the truck, he gives a jolt to the steering wheel. The rear wheel starts scraping the side of the road, so he slams on the brakes. The bus tilts like 45 degrees. I can see from my window the bottom of the cliff, all this rusted, twisted metal down there. And Gabby's completely unfazed. He continues with the questioning. How many people die on this road every year? So we made it to El Bolsón. I get off the bus, my legs are shaking, and when I see the landscape, the surroundings, I'm relaxed. We're finally here, everything is gonna be fine. I can see the sun setting on the Chilean side of the Andes. I can see the lake down the road with these ridiculous golden and blue colors. I'm completely relaxed. I can see the beautiful araucaria trees. I can smell the crispy mountain air, and I can smell burgers. And I'm starving. We still have like a 2 or 3 mile ride to the camping, but I'm starving, we need to eat. So we follow the smell of the burgers, and we find this tiny joint completely made out of wood where they were grilling burgers on an open flame. But we were starving, so we go in, we place our order, and while we're waiting, this guy rushes in with a big canister, pouring gasoline on the floor, on the counter, on my pants, screaming, "Run, run, get the fuck out of here, I'm gonna burn this fucking place." All I wanted was a burger, and I was about to become one. You know when people tell you that when you're about to die, your whole life flashes in front of your eyes? That's total bullshit. All I could think about was about the last 40 hours when I had a hellish train ride. I was smelling like puke. I almost ended up at the bottom of a cliff with my head crushed by a disco ball, and I was gonna get burned alive. Now, all I can remember about that moment is that when the guy told us to fucking run, we fucking ran. And we never looked back. Now, I'd like to tell you that the rest of the trip was all beautiful mountains, incredible lakes, fields covered with wild strawberries, and in part it was. But I also didn't shower for 21 days. I was cold almost every night. I was hungry all the time. But the following year, I went on another backpacking trip to Patagonia with Gabby. Now, I did other trips with Gabby in the last 35 years. The last one was to Panama this past February. And in case you want to know, he still talks to the drivers. Thank you.
Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no